Gail Mitchell is a school teacher by profession, a quilter by passion. Gail's quilts are not only beautiful, but they're almost like history books, only cozier and much more interesting. Gail documents every aspect of African American history in the squares of her quilts. I never heard of a quilting historian, and I definitely wanted to find out more.
Beautiful home you have here. Very lovely, very lovely. Look at this! What about quilts? What drew you to quilts of all things?
Well, my mother was a sewer, but she was a mender, and I told her that I would really like to explore quilting. So what I did one day is I got all of my old clothes out, cut them up, clothes that I couldn't wear anymore, and I cut them up into squares. And I started sewing them together, and I liked the way they looked. And I said, hey, this could be fun.
It's something that's very deep in our history as African Americans. Was there any connection, the fact that quilts have a significance in our history as African Americans, that drew you to it, perhaps?
African American women used it during slavery times, and all of the quilts that they made during that time were utilitarian quilts. The batting was stuffed into it, and the women sat around on the corners and they hand quilted the pieces. But the quilts have really progressed more now from utilitarian to art quilts.
How is your profession as a teacher translated into your art here? So have you turned your art into a mechanism for teaching people as well?
I have tried to teach the children about African American history through the quilts. When I hang them in the classroom, they ask questions about what's going on in each one. They want to know the stories.
Is an artist a historian? Are you a historian?
I do consider myself a historian, and I wish I were a griot, the African Americans that would tell the stories orally.
Yes.
But I feel as though I'm a griot in a different way, because my stories are portrayed in the quilts that I make.
Tell them with your hands.
Yes.
And finally, have you done anything on the president, the historic election, or do you plan to do one?
I do have one.
You do?
Yes.
I'm excited. So we'll have to see that.
The first of the incredible quilts Gail shared with me was the one she made in honor of President Obama.
During the convention, they had asked people to make an Obama quilt and mail it to them. So what I did was I went to the internet and I did the quilt in about 2 weeks. But what I did was I used that iconic photo of him in the middle. And all around the edges I put signature squares. And I used this and I transferred it onto the fabric. And then I decided to use the red and the blue to be patriotic.
Yes, red, white, and blue.
And then I made all of the signature squares because I was hoping that people would be able to sign on the white.
Yes.
Yes. But it's all empty except for the button.
And oh, good. Look at this. We have a button, a legacy of hope. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And then on the other side, Senator Barack Obama, now president.
And that wasn't all. Just when I was thinking, hey, what about the First Lady?
Oh, I love it! That's great! This is beautiful.
Yes, it came from the Ebony magazine. I just copied it. This is a speech that he gave in Philadelphia.
You know what? I love this.
And then came my personal favorite, a gorgeous black and white one commemorating famous African American women.
It was for Women's History Month in school, and I felt as though the children needed to know some of the more significant women in African American history. They all know Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman, yes.
But I wanted them to know Ida Wells Burnett and Elizabeth Catlett. But a lot of them didn't know Alice Walker. They knew Rosa Parks over here. So when I hang this in the classroom, some of the children want to go to the library and do research.
I mean,
Charlene
she has
Hunter.
Shirley Chisholm.
Yes, Shirley Chisholm.
And of course, several poets and authors here, from Maya Angelou to Alice Walker
Yes.
to Toni Morrison up
Yes,
here. And you
yes.
have the singers Mahalia Jackson, Aretha Franklin. You have the actress Lena Horne, and lots of track stars. Since I ran track in college, this is a personal favorite of mine. We have Althea Gibson over there, Jackie Joyner Kersey. I saw Florence Griffith. There's Florence Griffith Joyner, and my grandmother was named after her. Well, she's Ida Lee Moore, but Ida Wells.
Ida
My
Wells.
grandmother was named after her. So I love this. This is fabulous.
Thank you.
Yes, and a great teaching tool
Yes,
for
it
children who
is.
don't otherwise get this lesson.
After that, Gail only kept the goodies coming. We headed over to her quilt room where a pile of colorful quilts awaited me.
What is the story behind this one? Tell me what this is.
All right, this is a quilt signed by different poets, especially Amiri Baraka, who was the poet laureate of New Jersey. And there are other pictures here, and famous poets from around New Jersey signed this one.
Oh, this is beautiful. Tell me about. Oh, this is gorgeous.
I made each little individual heart, and then I put beads on them. This is called Mandela's Walk, in honor of Nelson Mandela, South Africa. And these are cowrie shells.
Yes, cowrie shells. Yes, and the cowrie shells are extremely significant in the African culture. They
Yes.
use it for a lot of jewelry
Yes.
and other different kinds of decorations.
And historically, they
adornments.
used them for bartering.
Ah,
And for using them in barter and buying different things and exchanging.
wonderful. Oh, is this the students you
These
were
are my
talking about?
students, yes.
These are the students.
And they love to see themselves on the quilts.
Oh,
This is a
that's
picture of our school, the front of our building, Millstone River School. And then these were students that I had last year.
So these are different places in Africa. Did you go
Yes.
to all these places? Or what's the
No,
story
the children
behind this?
decided to study the continent of Africa, and they chose different countries that they wanted to research. From Africa to America, the truth shall set you free. Yes, that's what's at the end of
That's
each one of them.
beautiful. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, yes, you talked about this.
There was a quilt for every occasion. Halloween, Thanksgiving, to remember a fun class trip, or just so her students felt cherished.